So this is the commercial centre of Norwich, I think it'd be fair to say. There's McDonalds and Carphone Warehouse, we have Primark, but it's also more or less in the centre of the city, because if those buildings were knocked down, we'd have a nice view of the castle. And but this was once the centre of Jewish Norwich.
Yes, it was. This is where the Jewish community lived, and in fact, if we look at Primark,
yeah.
The building, the original building, dated back to the 1100s, where a synagogue took place, and in 1961 it was excavated and lots of Jewish artefacts were found.
Yep.
Actually, if we can see where the McDonald's bin is, yep, there is a little stand there, and that tells you that this was the main Jewish area of Norwich.
Okay, so how long had Jews been living here? When did they come?
Well, they came over with William the Conqueror in 1066.
Yeah, and why did they come here? Was it a big city? Good as anywhere?
Good as anywhere. It was
yeah,
probably the second largest city in England at the time.
Yeah.
And William the Conqueror needed financing to build the castle and the cathedral.
Yeah.
And used Jewish money to do that.
Yes, because the Christians, the Catholics, weren't allowed to because
of usury.
Yeah, but Jews were allowed to do it.
Yes.
In fact, much of the many of the fine buildings, the abbeys and what have you, were in fact
financed by Jewish money.
Yes, so that they could put the deal together.
Yes.
Then right, so we had in 1144 William of Norwich, who was allegedly killed by Jews, and the very origin of the blood libel.
That is correct.
So what happened to the population?
Most of the population were killed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Murdered in their houses, murdered in the streets.
Yeah.
And of course it led to the Edict of 1290, when Edward I expelled all the Jews.
Yes, and that's, of course, by that time the Jewish population was in utter poverty. The money lending had probably come to an end. And,
it had.
It
had, because at the time Edward I was using money from the Lombards.
Yeah.
And the Lombards became just as hated as the Jews in Norwich.
Yes. And so what did this look like in the 11th century, around here, late 11th century?
Very flat.
Yes?
Extremely flat.
Yeah.
Houses. There would have been houses all over here.
Yeah.
Houses all around here.
But it is the centre of the Anglo-Saxon town as well, isn't it?
Yes.
The city, should be on that. We do have, well, okay, the castle was built, well, in front of us. We can't see it from here, but it was built to keep an eye on the locals, stop them running amok and show them who's boss.
Very true. And also, if we look at Fat Face over there,
yeah,
that's one of the oldest buildings in Norwich, and it's got a basement building which you could actually walk to the cathedral and the castle.
Okay, right. Oh, I didn't know that. And the cathedral is somewhere.
The cathedral is that way.
Yeah,
the castle is.
Well,
we can't see the castle because
of the building. Here. And we'll have to knock the church down as well to get a view of the cathedral. So.
But a little bit of interesting news about St Peter Mancroft before we go in there. Up until the late 1700s, there used to be a service for the government in thanks for getting rid of Robert Kett during Kett's rebellion.
Yes. Yeah.